So I am here with Lisa Labosco, who is our creative director for Crew New York, and she is going to tell us all about this new product that we have. What is it, Lisa?
Thanks, Amanda. This is Luxe Gloss. Luxe Gloss is a color gloss, translucent color gloss that is peroxide-free, ammonia-free, paraben-free. It requires no heat. It's vegan. It comes in 7 shades plus clear, intermixable shades, so you can create unlimited amount of colors. You do not need to be a colorist to be able to work with it, and it's for every client, including your extension and wig clients.
Wow, amazing.
Yes, so let's learn a little bit more about it.
First of all, what is the chromosome technology going to do for my colors?
So what's so unique about this chromosome is it's going into the hair. Part of it is actually making its way into the cortex, not all of it, but part of it's going into the cortex, and it is extending the life of the hair color by up to 50%.
Cool.
So that's amazing. So just by putting this on, whether it's clear, if your color's perfect and you love it as is, just use clear. Or if you wanted to, enhance the color, you can do one of the colors. Either way, you're getting that 50% color protection by using an overlay of any of the glosses.
Awesome.
We also talk about how it's translucent, and this is what's so different. There's a lot of colors that are out there, but it's the translucency that makes it so unique as well. So this happens to be ruby, but you can see that when you put it on anything white, we say what you see is what you get, because that is just how it goes. So by translucent, like you can see when I put it on a white piece of paper, it's not opaque. You see the white paper through it.
What I like, the way that you got me to understand translucent was when you referenced Easter paper.
The Easter baskets?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, right, that makes sense, because when you put it on the hair, it's there, and it's so shiny.
We say that it's translucent, and we have gotten a lot of people like, well, I'm not quite sure exactly what that means. So the story that Amanda's referencing, I talk about, the Easter baskets, and you put the colored wrap that goes over it, that cellophane wrap. Well, that's what color gloss is doing on the hair. So if you were to take, say, the copper or the ginger, and you put this over the hair, it's like that clear, it's like that cellophane paper going over. You're getting this overlay of the color, but you're seeing the color of the hair come through. So the same color, if you put it on Amanda's hair, it's going to look different than on my hair, because our hair color is going to shine through.
Yeah.
So what's beautiful about that is if you have different dimensions in your hair, it's not going to cover them up. Right. You're still going to have that different dimension in your hair, and you're going to get that different shading, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely beautiful.
That goes into gray coverage or gray blending.
Yes.
Yeah. I used that on one of my clients, and that's something, like, when it comes to gray hair and color, with me, like, aesthetically, like, I look at it, and sometimes it can just look, we all think about it, right? It's like, it can look like shoe polish or something, like it's just like a block. But this was amazing that it blended it in. I used coffee on my client, and then I sent her home with it, and she texts me all the time, and she's just like, oh my gosh, everybody's complimenting on my color, and that the gray is like not in everybody's face. It's just kind of shining through, but not as that's what you mean by translucent as well, right?
Right, because when we think about what is gray, actually, gray is a combination of pigmented and non-pigmented hair. So some of it's white and some of it's whatever their natural color is, some shade of brown, right? So the white hair is going to pick up much lighter. You're just going to get a little bit of a like a little bit of
sheen,
right? Like a very light, because it's going to be like a little translucent brown over the white. So it's going to be very, very light. And then you're going to have the dark hair, which is going to really pick up the coffee.
Yeah.
So you're getting this really natural looking blended color.
Yeah, it's kind of like camouflaged in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's cool.
And like we said, so also that brings us into the next thing on, you can use the colors right out of the tube, as you can see right here. So we have 7 colors plus clear, but we talk about what you see is what you get, right? So you can mix anything together. So for instance, I have, what do I have here? I have ruby right here in this bowl, and this is ruby. But what happens if we wanted to mix ruby with maybe some walnut?
Ooh, yeah.
It's a great combination. So I could just put a drop of walnut in it. Maybe the ruby was a little too intense. Now when you're mixing, there's no measuring, right? Because it's what you see with your eye. But when you're mixing a brown with a corresponding color, you're always going to want more, or generally, you're going to want more of the accent color, because the browns are more pigmented. So they're going to kind of eat up the red or the, the golds or whatever you're adding to it. So you just kind of mix.
It's so fun to do this for me, who's not a colorist. Like I'm in the dispensary, and I'm just like like I have like my paper out, and it's so much fun.
It's colorist or non-colorist. It's fun.
Yeah.
Because it's truly what you see is what you get. So now we just take this and we put it on here, and you can see the difference. So here's our ruby by itself, and there's our ruby with walnut, which is toned down.
Yeah.
And now this is 2 shades. You could put 3, you could put 4. It really doesn't matter. Let's share the color chart with everyone. What I find that is so amazing is how perfectly balanced. This is untreated hair. So these are just the swatches that were tested. So this is completely untreated. And this page is just all of the colors by themselves. So clear, ice, ginger, copper, ruby red, berry, walnut, and coffee. And when you look, it kind of has to drop down because, they come down. So when you're looking at ginger is up here, but this is actually ginger. It kind of drops down. So this is what you get. And for instance, like here's ruby red on white hair. So of course you're going to get a very intense color, but then if you put ruby red on brunette hair, it's much more subdued. But then if you come over here, now here's combinations of where you can mix like berry and ginger. And this is just mixing 2 combinations together. But again, that's just 2. You could mix 3, you can mix whatever you want. And it's just until you whatever combination you want, whatever your mind can conceive, whatever your eye wants to see, you put it in there and you can make it.
It's so fun being able to create all these different colors. I was playing around with clear and ginger the other day, and I used more clear and like a dash of ginger, and I made this peach color, and it was really fun. And it's just like, the sky's the limit. You can really just go for it. Now that brings me into how long is it going to last? Because there's no peroxide, as you said, there's no ammonia. So how long is it going to last?
So that's great. That's a great question. So in general, it's going to last from 6 to 8 shampoos. Now that is a range, but it's a really accurate range. So for the average person, 6 to 8 shampoos is how long it's going to last. Of course, porosity is going to play a role in that. If you have extreme porosity, it's going to affect it just like it will with any color that's out there. But it's a really good marker, that 6 to 8 shampoos. The way that you're going to use it, it can be applied to wet or dry hair. Generally, damp hair is your best bet.
Yeah.
If the hair is really wet, it's going to dilute your color.
Right.
and you're not going to get as much intensity. You can apply it to dry hair, but what I find is it takes a lot of color if the hair is completely dry, and sometimes the cuticle is really
closed.
It's closed, right?
Yeah.
So I find the very best result is on clean, slightly damp hair. So that way your cuticle's open, it's just barely damp, so you're not diluting your color, and you can process it from anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. Now, interesting, in 5 minutes, your color intensity is there, but you're not going to get the length of time.
Gotcha.
So when you leave it on for that 15 to 20 minutes, then it's going to really get your full lasting, that full 6 to 8, and sometimes even more shampoos.
Right.
But what's great about it, and I love this because especially when Luxe Color is new and you're not really that familiar with it, you can do a test strand in 30 seconds. This is great when you're in the salon, whether as a stylist you're maybe not so familiar and you're not exactly sure of the result, or maybe your client is a little iffy and maybe you're thinking of maybe doing a more intense color and they're not quite sure, or maybe they're in between, like, oh, maybe I want to do copper, or maybe I want to do ruby, or a combination. You can show them exactly what it's going to look like in literally 30 seconds. And I'm telling you, if anybody has a question, you can sell them on this.
Nice.
So now this you're going to do on dry hair because it's really simple. Now I do recommend using gloves. Staining is pretty minimal generally. But when you're working with the intense reds, it's going to be a little bit more.
Right.
So it's always best just to use gloves and not have an issue with it.
Yeah, for sure.
You'll find that the consistency is so nice. It's more of like a gel-like consistency, so it's very easy to work with.
That's what I've noticed as well, and putting it on the damper hair, how it goes on very easily. It's not messy. It's not dripping everywhere.
It's not running.
Yeah, because again, as a hair cutter trying to put on color, we're not the cleanest. So this really makes it easy. And going into that, like how easy it is to go on. And I'm just gonna pick this jar up because we can send this home with our clients, and this is what I do. So whatever color I've created for them, then I send them home with a to-go jar. And so this typically, is for them to refresh the color in between their service time. And personally, I have clients that are like, I want 3 jars of that. Right. And I'm like, okay, you might be using a lot of it. But, they're really digging it, and it's easy for them to put on.
And I'd like to just talk about the different ways that you can use Luxe Color. So you can use this as an all-over color for someone who maybe is afraid to get color, or maybe they don't want to use color, they don't want to put an oxidative color on their hair. So this can be an all-over color as their only color. It can also be used as an alternative as their pull-through. So maybe they're getting a single process and you don't want to keep pulling that oxidative tint through. So this can be in place of the oxidative tint as the pull-through, or it can be used on top of the pull-through. So you do your single, you do your pull-through with that, and now this is going to just enhance that on top of that. So there's so many different ways that you can use it. It can be used in between their color service when they come in, maybe it's fading a little bit.
Nice. That's what I did when I made that peach color. It was the alternative pull-through. And so it looked really, really, really cool, because even though it went on some of the hair that wasn't highlighted, it was more, like a darker brown, it still created this like sheen on top of it that really just blended it through, and it made it match. Wow, that's so cool.
So I basically just put that on, right? It's on for like, what, 10, 15 seconds?
Yeah, and this is so nice because then the client can be like, yay or nay, and it's not like.
Or if you're doing a custom, now I just took copper, but if I'm doing a custom color and I want to make an adjustment, maybe I'm doing a combination of a brown and a red. If I want to add a little more red or I want to add a little more brown, I can make any adjustment before I put it on all over. So I'm just going to wipe it off really good.
And that doesn't take any extra time to do a test strand.
Nope.
Like, what you see is what you get.
What you see is what you get. And now they can see exactly what it is. I can see, the client can see, and I mean, look at that beautiful color. And what you'll see once you start working with it, which I think is so amazing, even on the most damaged hair with very uneven porosity, it takes so evenly. We talk about that it doesn't have off tones. And by that, we mean that what you see in the bowl is what you're going to get on the hair.
Right.
It doesn't turn, like you use the term mucky a lot. It doesn't get mucky. It doesn't, if you put brown, even if on a color that you wouldn't normally put it on. So if you're putting one of our brown shades, if you're putting walnut on white hair, you're going to get walnut. Generally speaking, the brunettes are designed to go on brown hair. But even if you're putting it on something, very light, you're not going to get a greenish undertone or a bluish undertone. You're going to get walnut.
Right.
And it's going to be even. Your ends aren't going to grab darker. And it fades on tone. Sometimes different colors, they'll take the right tone initially, but then as they start to fade, they fade off tone.
Right.
They'll fade with like a greenish, usually it's greenish or bluish, because different pigments will tend to fade out faster than other pigments. Not so. These colors are so perfectly balanced, and we keep saying that they're so perfectly balanced that they fade on tone. And because of that balance, that's why there's no wrong combination. You can combine any of these colors and you'll always get a nice result. So whether you're a colorist or not, there's no wrong combinations.
Nice.
And not only is this color beautiful, and I'm sure, on the camera you can see the beautiful color, but look at how it changed the texture of the hair.
Oh my gosh.
You can see the color, and you can do it as often as you want. We say it lasts 6 to 8 shampoos, but you can do it as often as you want.
Yeah.
So this is an in-salon product. You can customize a color for your clients. They can take it home with them. And when you're doing this, we have these jars. You can charge whatever you want.
Right.
You don't have to tell them what you're putting in here. You're doing a custom color.
Yeah. And
this custom color could be different every time that they come in. Your formulation is going to adjust through the seasons, what's happening.
Yeah.
And this way their hair, not only is it looking great, it's feeling great.
Yeah. I want to just add one more to that, because I have clients that do not do color, curly hair, a little coarse, and can be frizzy, clear, because it changes it softens that frizz out, it softens that texture, and it adds so much shine, and it's just amazing. So it doesn't have to be a client that always that gets color.
Right.
You can use it just to bring the shine out, add more shine to their natural color, and help with the texture as well.
Yeah. Clear and ice. I'd like to just talk a little bit about ice. Ice is it's our pale violet that is for our blondes and our natural gray and silver clients. What this does, I don't know.
It's magic.
It's magic, right?
Yeah,
it really
for sure.
is magic. I have some clients that are choosing to just keep their natural gray hair. And what this does, it makes it that color that they all wanted to have and like they really couldn't get, because it was kind of like naturally it tends to be a little bit dingy.
Yeah.
But with ice, it's like Dee like to say, they're like silver foxes now, right?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful what it does. It just makes the blondes just gorgeous. And you don't get that matte where it tends to look a little dull and dingy. It just looks like either, depending on what they're starting with, either like Snow White or just like a silver fox.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a good one. I use that one a lot, the ice. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, so just to kind of recap, translucent color, no heat, no peroxide, no ammonia, no parabens. It's vegan. I know that's really important for a lot of our clients. It goes on dry or damp hair. I suggest damp hair is really the best way to do it. Can go on from anywhere for 5 to 20 minutes, full processing. It's going to last on average 6 to 8 shampoos. And it comes in 7 shades plus clear, intermixable. You can mix 2 or more shades together. What you see is what you get, and have fun.
Yeah.